Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I know that a lot of you, they have put the notification ring on because they are waiting for one video. The video that is announcing a change in coach. 20th of September 2022, this is not the case. Tuttosport, they are giving us three reasons, three explanations why this is not the case. We will go through them, that you like it or not. This has been reported by Tuttosport, that give us an answer at least why today Massimiliano Allegri is still the coach of Juventus. Put a maximum of likes, subscribe to the video because today we will go through a lot of news. The three reasons as I told you, but also the problems individualities. Also Allegri that said that according to him, the Scudetto is still possible. Is he dreaming? Is it possible? Why is he speaking about that? We go with Tuttosport, Italian and international papers, Tuttosport, Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere dello Sport, and other people. Can we still speak about our beloved Juventus? Can we still use the word our beloved Juventus or beloved? Well, according to me, yes. More than ever, because in moments of difficulties, I love my team even more. What about you? You decide whatever you want to use as word. I go with beloved Juventus. Tuttosport, we open it. They're speaking about two teams, Inter and Inzaghi. Resa dei Conti. It's the moment to speak with Inzaghi because Inter has some problems, but this is not really important to us, even if we will continue to speak about Inter in the other two pages. Tuttosport is focusing in the big part, 50% of that page, on Allegri. Allegri out, or hashtag Allegri out, 80 million. What are they referring to? Is the total cost that it will actually be for dismissing Allegri. Why? They will give an answer in a few minutes. Gazzetta dello Sport is speaking again about Inter with Inzaghi. L'Inter è con me. L'Inter, the team is with me, the words of Simone Inzaghi. But what is Allegri saying? Well, we don't know, but at least Gazzetta dello Sport is saying fiducia a tempo. There is the trust of the management, but attenzione, it's not an internal trust. There is a deadline, there is a timing for that trust. And he will have to show it, and he will have to prove it immediately. Already versus Bologna. Attenzione, Corriere dello Sport is speaking about c'è solo Ciro. There is only Ciro. They're speaking about the Italian national team because we know that it's international break. I don't really care. Injuries. That's why they're saying c'è solo Ciro, because there are injuries. To tell you, they even called up Gabbiadini. We are in 2022 and we are still calling up Gabbiadini. And then we are asking ourselves why we are not at Qatar 2022. Anyway, on the channel we have other problems to speak about, and we are speaking about the ones there. On the right side of the page, pronto soccorso, panchine a rischio. Emergency. The benches of Inter and Juve are at risk. What are the solutions? Lukaku, that is absent due to injury, and Vlahovic, that is absent not because of injury, but because he's not scoring, because he's not able to control. But these two are the men that should save Juve according to Corriere dello Sport, or maybe according to their coaches. Juve and Inter have a really difficult moment. You see it on the ranking. 12 points for Inter after 7 games, 10 points for Juve, even worse than Inter, but even worse than last year, where Juventus had 11 points, -1. We knew how much the beginning of the season of last year was difficult for Juventus and how much we had to run behind the other teams. We made it even worse. Esonerare Allegri, sacking Allegri, mossa da 80 milioni. I said it on the first page of Tuttosport. Allegri, l'esonerare. I'm sorry, sometimes I mix the language that I want to start with. The brain is going crazy. Sacking Allegri, 80 millions. Why? Because this is the total value and the consequences of sacking Allegri. 7 million net for 2 years more, but still 9 months of this year. 9 months plus 1 is nearly 3 years that you have to pay him net, but also gross for a company that arrives around 40 million euro. You also have to sack all his entire staff, Landucci, and so on, and you have to hire a new one, new coach, new staff, and so on, and you arrive around 80 million euro gross. That's a lot of money. They are comparing it a new top player that should arrive. We spent already 80 million for Vlahovic. This is what the consequences are financially to sack Allegri. So it's not 36 million like some people were reporting. If you add up everything, you arrive at 80 million. Lot of money there. Lot of money. And that's probably one of the reasons why it's taking a lot of time to take a decision. Nicolas Kira is also speaking about potential coaches that could join, and we will go through all the names that are free at the moment. Nicolas Kira is saying, hey, forget about Tuchel, because even if there were some rumors, despite the rumors of the last days, Tuchel has never been contacted by Juve. On top of that, if Nagelsmann from Bayern Munich is sacked, it could be a priority for Bayern Munich. But Agnelli is saving Allegri at the moment. How? With a phone call. Tomorrow we start again with the trainings with the people that are remaining, that didn't travel to international team, but the people that are remaining will start training. Allegri will be there. Allegri after Monza went to Livorno for 2 days because it was a total rest of the team. Agnelli called him and he said a few things. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, I precise because I don't know how they knew what was said on the telephone, but according to Gazzetta, Agnelli said, look, you receive, after a meeting with the management, you receive still the trust of the management, but things have to change immediately from Bologna. Immediately, things have to change. Physical condition, running, results, environment, spirit, everything has to change. You have to change it immediately. But now we go to the 3 reasons why. The 3 reasons why. We have still Allegri in Juventus. Montero, per ora no. Montero at the moment, no. What are the 3 reasons? The first one that is reported by Tuttosport is that Juventus is giving trust to Allegri because they planned a long project. A project that was not to win immediately last year. If we won, it was better. Of course it was, but it was a long project. The Mercato was done for Allegri. The players that has been chosen were chosen with Allegri, and they believe that they want to give a bit more time, that trust that things can change. Probably they received some words of Allegri saying we can do it. Like Allegri, you will see it in a certain moment, he said, we still can win the Scudetto. He's believing that the Scudetto can be won according to some rumors. We can win the Scudetto. I will speak about that in a second. And maybe they want to give him a bit more trust. That's the first reason. The second reason we already spoke about is financially. The impact of finances of sacking an Allegri and hiring another coach can be wrong. The third one is that at the moment it's difficult to choose a coach because we know that we can't fail. There are some coaches that cost a lot of money and probably impacting that financial problem, but also not a lot of coaches are convincing everyone. And that's the mistake that Juventus should avoid. Taking a coach because of rush. Then of course there is the internal solution, Montero, but they don't want to commit the same mistake that we already did with Pirlo, giving an inexperienced coach the first team, not for 4 games, but for an entire season, with the risk of collapsing totally, not only Juventus that is already collapsing, but also burning a potential great coach for Juventus in the future. We did it with Pirlo, we don't want to rush with Montero. It's not said here that Montero will never be the coach or that it cannot be a solution in 2-3 weeks. It could be. It's written Montero per ora no. At the moment, no. Sport Mediaset is going with crazy names. If we sack Allegri, Montero could be one, or at least an interim coach, because he's a vision of having Gasperini towards the end of the season. At the end of the beginning of new season, Gasperini. Then we go inside Gazzetta dello Sport. They are giving a few names, the difficult ones to reach: Tuchel and Pochettino. Why? Because of the salary and so on and so on. Tuchel, we already spoke, Bayern Munich. The expert, they are giving me names like Rafa Benitez, Ranieri, Laurent Blanc. They are speaking not about only about Juve, but also about Inter. Guys, can you imagine? Rafa Benitez, Claudio Ranieri. And then they are speaking about the legends of the clubs like Paulo Sousa for Juve or Dejan Stankovic for Inter. I agree with everything, guys. I agree with everything, but if we have to hear some names, please. Then I understand Juve that is taking the time to make the right solution. We continue because I said a bit earlier, I said Allegri is convinced about it. Apparently Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Gazzetta, that Allegri is really believing in the title, in the Scudetto. He's convinced that he can do it, that it's still a possibility. Well, we went into some details with Tuttosport. Una Juve da rovesciare. If he really believes in, it's a total different Juve that we have to see. A Juve that you have to take and you have to change it completely. From white to black, from black to white. Whatever, you have to change it completely. Because if we are looking at today, it's a Juve that is conceding more shots towards goal, that is creating 88 shots against 82 shots done after match day 7. If you are looking at the ranking of a lot of stats, we are absolutely not beautiful. We saw it, we knew it because we are watching the games, but now they are reporting it with stats. A lot of stats, like the shots average per 90 minutes, where we are really low. The shots that we conceded, really low. The attacks that we are going to per 90 minutes, really low. One of the most dangerous one we see it here is the dribbles. The least good teams of attempted dribbles. Only 18.5 dribbles per games attempted, and on these ones only 50% of them were succeeded, where we see that Roma is the team with the most dribbles attempted with 30. There is a big gap. When we are seeing at FIFA, for example, and the ratings, we see that the 3 best people with dribble skills, we have Chiesa that never played a single minute, we have Cuadrado that is totally tired and out of energy, and Di Maria that played 60 minutes versus Sassuolo, then a few minutes here, a few minutes there, and he will miss the next 2-3 games. And also versus Monza, he only played 40 minutes. So we understand probably why we have a problem. The best men are not there. Even Paulo Dybala is in that top 5 of best players, and it's not a Juve player anymore. So we are there. There is a reason why we have so many problems in attempting dribbles. If you're looking at the new players, what are they giving to that Juventus? We see that 5 of them, we were expecting probably more. Kostic, an average rating of 5.5 after match day 7 according to Gazzetta dello Sport. They are saying we are missing his crosses. He's doing a lot, but not a lot of time they are precise. Di Maria, he's missing his physical strength, his physical condition. 5.37 average rating. The one, of course, versus Monza is influencing a lot, but having a Di Maria for a few games, for a few minutes, is not enough. It was not the Di Maria that we were expecting at the moment. Pogba, no score, no rating. Why? Because he has never been available. What do we miss? We miss Pogba. And then we see Paredes. 4.83. Disaster rating for Paredes. 5 games on 5 since he started at Juventus. What are we missing? We're missing personality. We're missing character. Also a player that arrived with only 60 minutes played at Paris Saint-Germain. A player that was not ready to play as a starter. A player that was absolutely not ready to play game after game after game. Injuries made that we had to count on him. After a beautiful start of Paredes, he went to disappearing, to ghosting Juventus midfield, as we saw versus Monza. What about Gatti? He's missing focus, he's missing attention. 5.5 for him. The only 2 that are giving something to Juventus in terms of new names are Milik and Bremer, with some satisfactions here. Vlahovic. What about Vlahovic? He's not the new player anymore, but he's in a problem moment. We have to calm down. He has to calm down. He has to be reassured. These are the words of Tuttosport. Di Maria has to be managed because he's really nervous at the moment. What about the other players? Well, Bremer, he went to international team, and I'm happy to see a player with a smile. A Juve player with a smile. I hope that the players like Di Maria, Paredes, Weston McKennie, Bremer, but also the ones that are going to Italy, Bonucci, Gatti, the ones that are going to under 21, Miretti, Fagioli, and all the other players like Szczesny, like Melik, and so on, they can have a bit of calm being with their international team, a bit of smile with their international team, and coming back with another mindset, because the season will be difficult, and when we come back in October, it will be crazy, game after game after game. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that long video where we spoke about coach, about the future, about possibilities, but also especially about individualities, what is working, what not. At the moment, if we are looking after 7 games, not a lot is working. Doesn't mean that we have to hate Juve. I go back to the words I used, my beloved Juventus, our beloved Juventus. Grazie, forza, Juve.